Hello everyone, JAWneS here, and in today's video I'm going to showcase the best TV for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and how to get the best experience on next-gen consoles. So what you should be looking for when buying a TV for your PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X is auto low latency mode, high frame rate, 4K and variable refresh rate. And I'm going to explain those three terms on 4 different television models that can provide you 4K at 120 frames per second. But do keep in mind that these televisions are very expensive and you're going to need to spare some money if you really want to invest in a new TV and experience the 4K graphics that those consoles can actually offer you. Now, do keep in mind that the consoles will obviously display 180p and will look great doing it. But 4K with HDR is where things start to get interesting, because much has been made of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X ability to output high frame rate 4K. That's to say that 4K at 120fps. But for the most part, you should expect 4K at 60fps. To be the default standard for both models, at least in the short term. The good news is that all new 4K TVs of note will have HDMI connectivity that supports 4K at 60 frames per second. Consider the 4K 120fps the icing on the cake. And what I mean by that is that most televisions and games on the PlayStation 5 actually run 4K but at 60 frames per second. The 120 frames per second is kind of a plus that first of all requires a game that can run it, requires HDMI 2.1 and require a TV display that can actually refresh at 120 Hz. And these are the 3 points I mentioned in a previous video, so go ahead and check it out. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. But the part which is very important and which you have to understand is in order to get the 4K 120fps, it's going to take time. First of all, for games to start uploading or releasing their games with a feature that supports the 120 frames per second, and give it time for this feature to become stable so that you don't encounter error, lag or glitches while playing on 120 Hz. And then for televisions to start adopting 120 Hz, because it's still very new and televisions that supports 120 Hz are very expensive. For the moment, there's no actual monitor that can deliver 120 Hz refresh rate. If you think you had a monitor that can display on the game like 240 frames on Fortnite, those are not the 120 Hz gaming monitors. Asus will most probably release one very soon and it will be the first official one, but this will be a subject for another video. So, if you are now interested and have enough money to buy a 4K TV, or you just want to know what type of TV supports these functions, go ahead and continue watching today's video. Now you might be wondering, what are VRR and ALLM? ALLM stands for Auto Low Latency Mode, and it allows the television to automatically switch to game mode when it receives an ALLM signal from your console. When an auto low latency mode signal ends, the TV reverts to its previous picture mode. It's a convenience feature, simply put. Now, the HDMI VRR stands for Variable Refresh Rate. It's a standard adopted by game consoles that allow games to supply a TV with a frame as soon as it's rendered. This ensures low input lag and eliminates the judder and tearing artifacts which can be seen if a frame is sent at a fixed frequency that doesn't align with the rendering speed. In short, HDMI VRR is a good thing, although you'll only find it on expensive TVs. The first TV we are going to look at is the LG Oled Cx Series. Formidable gaming specification and excellent image quality makes LG Cx Series a hot option for high-end gamers. It comes in 48, 55, 65 and 77 inches depending on the model. It has an input lag of 13 milliseconds on 180/60. It has OLED screen display, 120 refresh rate, HDR, Dolby Vision, HDR10 HLG. It supports variable refresh rate and has HDMI 2.1. This mid-range 4K OLED is arguably the best specified of all current crop high-end UHD TVs. Image quality is outstanding with superb dynamics, black level and shadow detail. Unusually, the CX boasts 4 HDMI 2.1 inputs. Most sets offer a mix of 2.1 or 2.0 or usually don't have 2.1 altogether, but this one offers 4 inputs. It features variable refresh rate and auto low latency mode and 4K at 120 Hz. So if you want a screen that does all of that, LG CX is an excellent choice. The only caveat is image retention, aka burn-in, which can be issued for OLED when images remain static on screen for too long. In all, though, this was the clear winner in the gaming TV category. The other downside for this television is its price. The 48-inch model or the 55-inch model is priced at around $1,600 on Amazon. It goes all the way to $3,500 for the 77-inch model. At number 2, we have the Samsung QNQ70T or the QEQ70T. This is an affordable QLED, but also one of the cheapest UHD screens to support 120 FPS gaming. It comes in 55, 65, 75 and even 87 inches depending on the model. The input lag is 20 milliseconds at 180/60 with Game Motion Plus. The display type is QLED with a 120 Hz refresh rate. It has HDR10 Plus, HDR10 and HLG with VRR and HDMI 2.1. Now the Q70T may lack the full array local dimming backlight found in the higher end Samsung QLED range, but it compensates with a more affordable price tag and the dynamic picture performance. One of the least expensive 4K TVs to offer 4K 20 FPS, the Q70 won't break the bank but will show you game consoles at its best light. The fourth HDMI is the one that's 4K 120 FPS ready. The remaining HDMIs are all 4K 60 FPS enabled, so on this one you only have one port. Another neat feature is mobile multi-view and casting, which allows the TV image and your smartphone to be viewed simultaneously, useful if you're playing a game while following a YouTube walkthrough. And like all Samsung QLEDs, there are two game modes. Game Motion Plus achieves a low input lag but still maintains element of the picture processing for the best possible picture quality, and input lag mode, which is a respectable 20 millisecond delay. Game Motion Plus can be switched off, which then unleashes a blistering fast 9 millisecond input lag. Now, the price of this television for the 55-inch is $1,445 and it goes all the way up to $2,600 or even $2,800 for the 85-inch model. And as you can see, this is a bit cheaper, or for some people it's a lot cheaper than the previous model. The third model we are going to take a look at is the LG Nano 90 NanoCell LED. Don't overlook this TV because it's in third place when it comes to gaming displays. It comes in a 55, 65 or 75 inches depending on the model. It has an input lag of 17 milliseconds on 180/60. It has a LED display, a 120 Hz refresh rate, HDR Dolby Vision, HDR10 HLG. It supports VRR and HDMI 2.1. LG's OLED tend to hog the limelight, but its NanoCell screens are an intriguing LED-based alternative. This 9 series model sports two high-speed 4K 120 FPS compatible inputs, handy if you're planning to play in both camps. It's a mid-range performer when it comes to HDR brightness, but full array dimming keeps the dynamics nice and tight. This, coupled with relatively low image lag, makes a good gaming screen. The set is also compatible for HDMI, VRR and ALLM, and it comes at a starting price of $900, which is more affordable than the previous two televisions, going all the way to $1,700. Now if you want to check the prices, I'm going to leave a link in the description to go to this website, and from here you can redirect yourself to the following links on Amazon. Last but not least, the Sony X900 H. If you're looking for a PS5 ready 120Hz Sony TV, this is the one. It comes in 55, 65, 75 or even 85 inches depending on the model. It has an input lag of 17 milliseconds at 180/60. It has a LED display with 120Hz refresh rate, a Dolby Vision HDR10 HLG. It supports VRR and HDMI 2.1. If you want a Sony TV to showcase your PS5, take a long look at this model as it promises support for 4K 120FPS via a firmware update which has started rolling out recently. Sony's image processor is one of the best out there, and it's particularly adept upscaling non-HDR and HD content. Basically, Sony's image engine makes everything look good. There's support for ALLM and VRR2 at least when Sony enables the latter via firmware. Input lag is bonza at 50 milliseconds. This television is starting at $1,000 and goes for the 65-inch for $1,400, which is a bit more expensive than the third TV but still cheaper than the ones displayed previously. There's still more TVs that I could talk to you about, but it would make this video too long. If you want, I can make a part 2 with televisions that are adapt to run 4K at 60 FPS if you don't want the 120 FPS, or even explore more alternatives. This has been it for this video. If you enjoyed this type of video and want me to do more, make sure to leave a comment down below, and also make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out more PlayStation 5 content and updates related to everything going on right now with the PlayStation, setting it up, using the best displays, adjusting the settings, and basically all tech tutorials. I hope to see you in my next video. Peace out.